Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. Supermoon just went by and I'm not quite feeling myself. I actually have an important topic to talk to you guys about, but a lot of you guys don't like the walking, talking videos. So for those of you who don't like them, please shut this down now. I don't want to burn your time. And I don't want to read the nasty comments on the bottom about wasting time. So, let's talk about YouTube and taxes. I just saw my accountant today, so I'm freshly abused. I went to see my accountant, and I had plenty of receipts and mileage and tolls and all that stuff. So I brought the whole box to him, and he said, okay. And he kind of added it up, and he said, wow, you're running at quite a loss here. I said, yeah. You know, quite honestly, I just kind of want to run my channel so that it breaks even. He says, you can't do that. He says, either you're in business, either you're running this channel like a business and you could write off these expenses, or you're running it as a hobby so you really don't care. He goes, you kind of can't have it both ways. He goes, so if you're running it as a business, you could take these expenses. And then we discussed, you know, how I wake up every day and make videos, or I plan videos, or I travel to buy something for a video. So we went through all that. And then we went through, you know, like Google has rules. If you're not careful, you can find yourself inappropriate for all advertisers or taken off the air completely. So, you know, there's a lot of rules. So this is like a job. And he goes, okay. And you're being paid as an independent contractor. Okay. And he says, that means your expenses are deductible. Okay. He says, but all your expenses are deductible. Or really, according to the letter of the law, none of your expenses are really deductible. So either run it like a business and plan on, you know, spending money on what you need to spend money on to be a successful business. He goes, but don't run it as a, you know, it's the end of the year and I have to make all these expenditures so that I don't, or I barely break even, or I lose money, or, you know, I only make a little money. He goes, no, you have to run it like a business. It's fine that you're being paid like a business. It's being fine that you think of it as a business, but from an audit point of view, you got to run it like a business. Now, I'm not quite sure what that means to you guys, other than I think I'm going to have to start paying a lot closer attention to my expenses. I have a tendency to dramatically subsidize the channel. Like probably $2 out of $3 I spend on this channel are mine, and 1 out of 3 is kind of goes up against the channel. But you really, once again, can't run like that, because then it's just a hobby that you're using it to subsidize, or it's a way of subsidizing one's hobby. So yeah, I still gotta figure out exactly how to make the numbers work out properly. But just to give you guys a clue, and for some of you folks who get like a $500 check at the end of the year from YouTube, if you don't write any expenses off on that check, even if you don't owe any income tax on that check, you will theoretically owe both halves of Social Security. The half that normally an employer would pay, that you have to pay because you're self-employed, and the half the employee has to pay because you're the employee. And given that you, on a $500 earnings, you owe about $75 in Social Security, $75 to $80 in Social Security. And if you go from 500 to 1,000, now you owe 150 to 160 in Social Security. And let's say you manage to work your way up to 5,000, you know, just keep playing with the numbers, right? That's about 750 in Social Security. And if you make it to 10,000, you owe 15 to 1,600 in Social Security. So, you know, I guess in one respect, I'm happy because I don't make very much money from YouTube. But in another respect, I'm also kind of scratching my head because I got to figure out a way of subsidizing the channel such that I can keep playing all these games and not make it look like it's a hobby, because really YouTube doesn't pay for very much of it. I pay for most of it. I mean, interesting dilemma, huh? So anyway, I figured it's kind of a rainy day. I'm not going to get too much done, especially after spending a couple of hours with the accountant. I'd rather go to the accountant than the dentist because there's no physical pain in going to the accountant, but still not one of my favorite activities. We are coming up toward April 15th, so start collecting your records. Yeah, the business part of YouTube is something that I really don't like much to think about, and I'm sure you guys don't like much to think about. But should your channel start taking home that $500 or $1,000, start thinking about, well, I better leave some money in this account, right? Because they direct pay savings accounts now. I better leave some money in this account to have to pay up my Social Security at the minimum. And if there's anybody out there who actually has another income, or you're married to somebody with another income, one could easily find themselves, like here in New York State, paying, I don't know, 5 or 10 points of income for income tax, and I don't know, you can end up owing the feds another 20 points. So if you're looking at 10 and 20, and then you throw another 15 or 16% on it, you can end up owing almost half your YouTube earnings out in taxes. So there's a very good reason to keep track of your expenses, but there's also a good reason to plan your expenses in such a way that you're running your channel as a business, not as a piggy bank or something else. I hope this helps. If you owe money, hopefully, or if you have a YouTube channel and you're making any substantial money, hopefully you have an accountant involved. For my accountant, who's one of the bigger ones in the area, I'm his only Google person. I'm his only YouTube person. So that's also a little bit interesting. He says eventually what they're going to do, if there's enough of us out there, he's a CPA, there'll be a class on it, and in that class there'll be a lot more. It'll be a lot more defined about how the IRS and how the accountants, the CPA, should be dealing with YouTubers and YouTubers' earnings and everything else. So there we are. I want to thank everybody for dropping by to watch and comment and subscribe. please remember, feet down, heads up, and get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.